I'm Kenneth Witt, and welcome to Gun Dog Nation. Gun Dog Nation is much more than a podcast. It's a movement to build a community of people around the world that like to watch a well-trained dog do what it's bred to do. Also, we want to get our youth involved into the sport of gun dogs, whether it be hunting, sport, or competition. We want to build a community of people united to preserve our gun dog heritage and to be better gun dog owners. Tune in to each weekly episode and learn about training, dog health, wellness, and nutrition. We will also offer tips for hunting with dogs and for competition, hunt tests, field trials, and other dog sports that involve gun dogs. Please go to our website, gundognation.com, and subscribe to our email list. We will keep you informed weekly with podcasts that are coming out. We also will be providing newsletters with training tips and health tips for your dog. You can also go to patreon.com/gundognation and become a member. There's different levels of membership on there. Just go check that out. Also, would like to thank Sean Brock for providing the music for this show, the introduction and the outro. As Sean Brock, he played everything on there except the banjo by Scott Vestal and the dobro by Jerry Douglas. Sean is a neighbor of mine from over in Harlan, Kentucky. I'm just crossing the mountain in Hyden, Kentucky, and he's a super talented guy. But most of all, I want you guys to check out the Creekers. They are also from Hyden, Kentucky, and this is an up-and-coming bluegrass and country band, and these guys are hot. They're all over TikTok and YouTube. You will hear these guys because in a year or so, they will be on the radio. They are very talented. Their videos are going viral on the net. These boys are family. Two of the lead singers, one grew up with my daughters, and the other one is my cousin's son, so he's family. But check them out. Check out the Creekers. Also, last but not least, if you want to buy a hat, koozie, t-shirt, or even gun dog supplies, go to shopgundognation.com and you can purchase any of those items. Thank you so much for listening. It's a privilege to have people that want to put up with me talking about dogs all the time. I actually enjoy what I do, and I'm so glad to have this opportunity, and thank you. Hello, welcome back to Gun Dog Nation. This is Kenneth Witt. I'm here coming to you today from Fort McCavitt, Texas at the ranch, and it's my privilege today to have a fellow podcaster, but a much more well-known podcaster, Mr. Jeff Stanfield of the Big Honker. Jeff, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, and I don't know about how big that is unless you're going by weight. So that's the only way I'm bigger than anybody else.
I won't talk about anybody's weight. I realized I was looking at your email. We're probably the same age because I saw the year in there. 68?
Yeah, 68. 57 years old, be 58 on leap year. Well, I don't have a leap year, so in February I'll be 58. Getting old.
I'll be 57 September 12th. So, yeah.
It's getting old really is, it sucks. There ain't nothing else to say about it because we're at the age now that we've either buried our parents or it's getting close. And then we're at the age where we've got 15 years of good times left. And I tell people that all the time, and they're like, well, what do you mean? I said, I don't know anybody that after the age of 70 and gets any kind of improvement in their life.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to live better. I saw that you were doing jiu-jitsu, and that I've really always been interested. You got to tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I'm sore. I did it yesterday. I'm doing it twice a week now. I am the worst person in the room.
Oh, I would be.
And I tell everybody it's like church. And they'll be like, what do you mean church? I cannot stand the first 10 minutes of my church. It's music. It's the fellowship, the hugging crap. I don't want to hug them people. They don't want to hug me, but they do. So I don't like the first 10 minutes of church, but I love the gospel, and I love listening, and I love learning, and I'm the worst person in the room. Well, and that's the same at church. Or at jiu-jitsu, the first 10 minutes, we stretch and do all the pre-game bull crap, and it's no fun. And then we get to wrestle, and I like that. And I'm the worst person in the room. And so it's a lot like church to me for that way. But it's really good for me. It's the only thing I do that I can compete at, that I get to compete at. I mean, when you were a kid or when you're a younger man, you can play football, you can play basketball, you can play baseball. You're competing physically. Golfing, you're competing against yourself. Bowling, you're competing against yourself. And so it's the only outlet I get that's actually compete. And I got my ass whooped by 3 different guys yesterday. But I enjoy it, and I'll go back Sunday morning. I can't wait to go Sunday afternoon again.
Are you the oldest guy in the class?
By a long way.
Yeah, that's what there's my house in Midland there. There's a jiu-jitsu place, and I've wanted to go really just for the exercise. I really don't want to get beat up anymore, but the exercise would be good.
It's the best exercise. I wrestled a guy yesterday. Or I don't know if they call it wrestling. I don't know what the proper terms. I'm so new that I don't know that they're like, get a guard on him and do this and do that. Hell, I don't know what they're saying. And jump to your feet. Well, yeah, I could jump to my feet 20 years ago. I ain't jumping to my feet now.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
lumber to my feet, but I ain't jumping to them. But my class is a bunch of good guys, and they're very patient. But I wrestled three guys yesterday, and I got my ass whooped. And one guy that whooped my ass probably weighs 140 pounds. And I chose him because I've wrestled with him before, and I thought I got a chance here. And he flipped me around and did some stuff. And next thing I know, I've got his knees against my ears, and he's choking down on me and pulling on my neck and something. And I'm tapping out and go again. But it's fun, and it's the only thing I do that I get a lot of physical exercise out of that I really enjoy. I don't like to jog. I don't like to walk even that much. And lifting weights is boring as hell to me. I didn't like lifting weights when I was younger.
You know, in high school football, and I was from Eastern Kentucky, and we did collegiate wrestling in the off season for conditioning, and it's crazy the conditioning you have to be in to wrestle. We didn't have like organized wrestling, and we're from a real rural area, but oh my gosh, it'll take your breath quickly.
Yeah, it's 5 minute rounds. And if you get choked out in 5 minutes, you start do it again. And so you get 5 minutes on the mat. And you do three rounds of 5 minutes or four. I think one night I did four. That's 20 minutes of giving everything you got. I mean, your heart rate's going. It's everything you got. And it's not like real fighting because
Yeah.
there's a girl in our class that whooped my ass one day, and she's a good friend of ours. And I said something in town. Somebody goes, I heard she whipped your ass. I said, yeah, she did. I can't believe she'd whip your ass. I said, it's not a real fight. It's not like I'm going to elbow her in the face, you
Yeah.
know? You got to have some restraint. It's just wrestling, but it's all just about who gets advantage over someone else and using their leverage against them. And it's like a chess match, but boy, I tell you what, I hurt. My jaws hurt today, my neck, my shoulders. I got in the pool. When I get done, I get in the pool and swim, and that sure helps a lot. So I don't know what's going to happen in winter when it's too cold to get in the pool, but probably that ice bath would probably do me some good.
That would do good. Now, Jeff, it's crazy. You came up to meet me and you introduced yourself to me, and I knew I'd heard of your podcast, but I hadn't had time to really listen into it. I've caught pieces of it. But anyway, when we met at Delta Waterfowl in Oklahoma City, it was crazy how much we had in common. We're both. I'm an ex-county judge executive in Kentucky and an ex-county attorney and city council, and I've had a few offices, but that was a long, long time ago. I was a young man when I did that, but you wear a lot of hats. What all do you do? You've got tell us first. Let's just talk about your outfitter.
Well, me and my brother started Stanfield Hunting Outfitters when we were in college. There's a sign. There's in my office. I've got the original Big Honker Lodge sign that a guy redone for me, and that sign was put up in 1993, I believe.
Okay, so the name Big Honker of your podcast came from your outfitter.
No. Our outfitters Stanfield Hunting Outfitters,
Okay,
but I
okay,
named our lodge the Big Honker Lodge one day. I have no
okay.
idea where I came up with that name from, but it was the Big Honker Lodge, and that sign was from 1993, and that sign from where I'm sitting right now in our studio here, that sign set 400 yards up the road on the road on 2279 where our lodge is at. That's how long we've been here in this same spot, and me and Tony started this in college. We poor kids. We didn't have a lot of money growing up at all, but my dad hunted with us. My dad was a fireman in Wichita, and we got to hunt and fish all the time with him. And he instilled with us the love of waterfowl hunting. And we started this, and I never wanted to have a real job, anyways, probably. And me and Tony took turns guiding hunts the first year. I'd take off one day from work. He'd take off one day. And that's kind of how we started out. And then the next year we went full time and took an old farmhouse and turned it into a lodge and just kind of, it just transformed into what it is now. And we're one of the largest outfitters in the world. We hunt a lot of people. And we've got corporate sponsors and a lot of that's to do with the podcast. But I've been in the waterfowl game for a long time,
Wow.
and I'll be in it till I die. And I hope my grandkids take over. But we've been really blessed. And we got in at the right time. We got in it when a poor guy could get into it. This is a tough sport to get into if you don't have money nowadays.
Yeah, land, just buying the location, even a lease is outrageous.
Right? It's and we do it all. We do deer hunting, we do pheasant hunting, hog hunting, dove hunting, all the waterfowl. And I've got a couple of deer hunts still left to sell, but you really got to hustle if you're going to make money and make this as a living, because this has turned into either guys like me that are hustling to make a living at it, or it's rich kids that are living on daddy's trust money, or some guys have made a lot of money in their life and now want to live their hobbies. And I see that because I put on my Facebook about 5 years ago. I wrote on there and said, "What would you do if you won the lottery?" It was like when it was $1 billion or something, and 2, 3 people wrote under there, "If I won the lottery, I'd do what you do for a living. I'd be a hunting outfitter." And I thought, "Boy, fuck that. I'm win the lottery. I'm going to get out of the hunting business." I wouldn't get out. I like what I do. If I had $100 million, I'd be sitting right here talking to you right now. I like what I do.
Yeah, I've got a hunting ranch here, and I don't really advertise, Jeff. I just stay so busy with my land work that I do. I'm a landman, you know that, but it's hard to do hunts too. I actually got a hunter coming in tonight, but I don't run many, and it's expensive. I mean, if I had to make a living on this ranch selling hunts, I'd starve to death.
You gotta hunt a lot of people. You got to work hard. You got to get people through there.
Yeah, and
I
it's
mean,
now since you and your brother you've done waterfowl so long, surely you guys have dogs that you run or for your retrieves, or how do you run that? Hello, this is Kenneth Witt with Gun Dog Nation. Many people quickly become frustrated and confused when training a retriever. Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy's online courses eliminate all the guesswork by giving you a proven training system that will help you train a dog that anyone will be proud to have in their blind. Learn where to start, what to do next, and what to do when problems arise. Visit cornerstonegundogacademy.com to learn how you can train your retriever. I have used this method myself. I have been through it a couple times with different dogs. I refer back to it lots of times when I'm trying to get dogs freshened back up for hunt test season. I highly recommend them. I have actually been a subscribed member of Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy since 2016, and I would suggest anyone use it. I highly recommend it. They have an app that you can get to on your phone. You can do it from your phone, your laptop. You can't get any more convenient than that. I've used it. It's proven and tried. And I know literally hundreds of people that have done the same thing that I've talked to. Visit cornerstonegundogacademy.com and learn how to train your own retriever.
well, we own a couple of bird dogs for our pheasant hunts.
Okay.
I've got 2 worthless labradoodles that live at my house, Ollie and Amos. I don't deal with them in I don't they don't hunt. My background in the hunting dog business hunting dog world is pretty interesting, really. My dad trained bird dogs, or not bird dogs. My dad trained retrievers. I was first
Okay.
introduced to a Labrador retriever for a pet in about 1981, I believe. My dad bought this dog named Stardust, and she was probably the most worthless Labrador retriever I've ever been around in my entire life. Sweet dog, old lady had her at her house, and she sold her. And I remember me and my dad went over to get her at this house one time, and he broke down. He didn't want to buy a dog. He's like, "God dang, I just don't want to get a dog." But we hunted, and we hunted out of a boat, and so every time we'd shoot a bunch of ducks, then you have to untie the boat and pull the anchor up, drive out, pick up the ducks, and go back and rebrush everything. And we do it 2 or 3 times. He finally said, "I want to get me a dog." So he bought this dog, and so Stardust was our first dog that we had. She was not very good, but my dad met a guy who trained some Labrador retrievers in Wichita Falls named Lane Crow, and Dad and Lane become friends. And Dad learned a little bit about the hunting business and the dog world. And my
Okay.
dad accelerated all the way up till he was running some all age open dogs in field trials. And I was very fortunate as a child, or as a young man. I shouldn't say a child. I was in my teens and stuff, that I got to be around some of the best Labrador retrievers in the country, field champions, national field champions, the who's who of dogs. So that was my introduction into the dog world. And then we had a dog that was me and Tony's when we first got in the business, named Beavis. Beavis has been on in the Dallas Morning News. He's been in the Fort Worth Star Telegram. He probably retrieved, I would guess, somewhere 25 to 50,000 birds in his lifetime. And and those are honest to God numbers. He would
Yeah.
Lots of hundred bird hunts in the morning, and then he'd go out and retrieve 50 pheasants in the afternoon. And he would do that 5 6 days a week a lot of times. So it don't take a long time to put down a bunch of chickens. So that's my dog stories right there. As I grew up around them, my dad had great retrievers, and I was around them my whole life. I have no desire in the world to train a dog at all.
It takes a lot of time, doesn't it?
And I've been all around it. I know everything about that business just about, and I have no desire to want to do it. We just had our new episode, our new series just dropped on YouTube called "The First Family of Waterfowl," and one of the episodes is called she's hell, I can't even remember the name of it, and it just came out. Anyways, there's 8 episodes, and one of them, Andy, my oldest son, who partners with me, co-hosts the podcast. He lost his dog of 11 years last year at this time, and he got his new puppy Roy. And we started out going into it. He borrowed a buddy of one of my dad's best friends, Steve Barber's got a dog named Thunder that my dad trained, and Thunder is now 9 10 years old. And Andy hunted Thunder last year, and Thunder will come hunt with Andy again this year. Then Roy will be ready to hunt next year.
Nice.
So my guides have dogs, but I don't have any hunting dogs. I've got two. We got two bird dogs we use for pheasant hunts here.
Well, and what breed are those?
Uh, I think one's a Drahthaar and one's a German Shorthair.
Oh, wow. Those draughts are something, like they're so versatile.
They're good dogs. We've had every kind of lab you could imagine. My dad bought an English field champion named Maria. I'm going to say around 94, 95 maybe, and had her flown over from Britain. And she was an English field champion. She was 2 years old, and she was here for a long time. And she was a little English dog. And then we've had the full big labs and everything. And that Drahthaar reminded me a lot of Rhea because he would do everything. He could waterfowl hunt or upland hunt. He was a good dog. And we've had
And
a
that's
couple
how
of
the British do
Drahthaars.
it. They actually upland hunt way more than they waterfowl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's being up in Wichita Falls. Did you ever run across Joe Worster, the veterinarian, Dr. Joe Worster?
I don't know that name. I knew most of the vets there too.
He he's younger than we are, but not much.
Where's he work at?
I can tell you here in a second. I just had him on a podcast, and I met him through Ronnie and Susanna Smith at one of their seminars. He was there talking. He's an A&M grad. Let's see.
Does he work for Mike Bomer? Colonial Park or at Dr. Ashley with Tim?
It sounds like Colonial Vet Hospital.
Yeah, he works with Mike Bomer. Mike's a good guy. I'll tell you a funny story about Mike. Mike's a great vet. And I'm assuming Mike's probably retired by now. But when I was in college, I worked at a furniture store in Wichita Falls, and Mike's wife helped an interior decorator. And when I was 19 and 20, 21 years old, I would babysit for them when they'd go out on date night once a week for him and his wife. And I helped work at the vet clinic a couple of times in surgery, just kind of that somebody was off that was helping them in surgery, and they'd call and I'd come in there and help. I'd done it a couple of times. But I'm going to tell you right now, you take a tomcat and you try to cut his balls, and I'm telling you right now, it takes all you got to try to hold one of them suckers down.
Don't want no part of that.
Hell no. But yeah, no, I don't know Dr. Worcester, but I knew Mike who used to own that, and Mike still may. Good guy.
Worcester he just gave us we sent it out to all our subscribers, but it was a first aid kit list, things you need to take when you're going traveling and hunting with your dog. But he hunts, he owns bird dogs, and he's done it all his life. So those guys, you know how it is, Jeff. A hunting dog vet, they have a different. Sorry, that's my phone going off. I believe.
No, I've got a thing I'm looking for in here that I can't find it. I've got a paramedic kit for dogs.
Oh, I'd be interested in that.
Alex Langbell
Okay.
with Gun Dog Outdoors.
Yes.
Alex is a friend of mine and was sponsored my podcast for a couple of years. And Alex is an ex Yakima, Washington paramedic, I believe, or that's where he lives now. But I think he was in Yakima the whole time. Anyways, he's got a dog. We carry him with us. All of my vehicles have it in there. Hell, it's got a staple kit in it. It's got everything.
Yeah, I bought that at the seminar, and then I've got another kit. I wish I had it here to my truck. It's a Retriever Training Supply makes, and it's actually like in an orange, like a small Pelican box. These that's
This one's an
waterproof.
orange bag, but it's
Yep.
called it's. But that is a great one, and I have it, and I carry it. All my vehicles have it with them. One of my guides will have one in the groups with the guides. It's a great tool. I think I run about $100.
Yeah.
But man, I'm telling you right now, I've pulled up to car wrecks twice and pulled it out.
Well, Jeff, in all your years outfitting, I know you've seen it all, but what's some what's some great hunting dog stories that you've seen, just in your outfitting? I mean, some just marvelous retrieves or maybe even an injury or something that a dog got while it was at the lodge.
we had a I got a phone call about, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago from Andy. He's like, "Where are you at?" And I was like 5 miles from where he was hunting. I said, "I'm back on the over on one of our big, we call it the big field." I said, "I'm over at the big field looking at these birds." He goes, "I need you to get over here right now." What happened? He said, "This kid's bleeding from his head." What happened? He said, Lou jumped over him. I'm like, "What?" Lou was Andy's dog. So, boy, I'm hauling ass, and I get there, and I get about 2 miles away, and Andy goes, "It's all right. It's Big Earl's got it handled." Well, Big Earl's one of my clients, and he's a paramedic in Fort Worth, and fired with the fire department there. So I pulled in the field, and I go, "What is going on?" Lou had jumped retrieve, and this kid was down in front of him because we lay down. We were in like layout blinds. We were laid out, and Lou was behind him. He jumped, and when he jumped over this kid raised up about the time, and Lou's elbow hit this kid right in the back of the head, and it split him down to almost between his eyes.
Ooh,
He was bleeding. And the kid was fine. He's like, "Oh God, that hurt, Dad." "Oh," and his dad, "You okay?" "Yeah, I'll be all right." And then the kid sees the blood. Then when the blood, then the panic hit. "Oh my God, I'm bleeding to death. My brain's exposed." And but it just cut him right down the middle. But anyways, Big Earl
gee,
looked at him, and Big Earl looked at him, and he goes, "Well, what's it feel like?" "Oh, it hurts. It hurts." He said, "Well, let me tell you something, son." He goes, "It's going to hurt till it stops hurting, but you'll be all right." That was the end of it. But it cut him. It cut him pretty good. So, anyways, that kid still hunts with that kid's in college now. We always give him a hard time about that. My dad had a dog named Hacksaw, and Hacksaw was big old bronky lab, had the big old blockhead on him and stuff. And so
I love that name.
Hacksaw had a bad habit. Hacksaw loved skunks. And every time he'd go hunting, he'd find a freaking skunk and he'd try to bring it to my dad. And Dad shocked him with a shock collar and shit. And I'm like, "Shock him, shock him, shock him." He said, "Hell, I think he thinks he's not retrieving them fast enough. If I shock him, he's trying to get faster with them." But it took forever for my dad to break that dog of getting into skunks. He'd get into skunks all the time.
Oh Lord, you can't get rid
Uh,
of that.
no, and it was a hard habit to break. We had a we had a lab that was up here that Bear, one of my guides had a dog named Bear. And I'm driving down the county road one time, and my phone rings from my guides. I'm out every morning, I scout, and he's like, "Hey, Bear went on a big retrieve over there. If you see him, let me know." I go, "What?" He goes, "Somewhere over there." And hell, there's a paved road there, a farm to market road. I'm worried somebody's going to run over him. And I'm looking in binoculars, and I can't see him. And there's a cotton field across from the peanut field we're hunting. And every once in a while, I could see something moving in it. And I thought, well, hell, that's Bear. So I drove a half a mile up the road and cut across. We're coming. The goose's wing was over his eyes. He couldn't see. And he was just running and running and running. And I ran till where he could hear me. And finally, he heard me and come right to me. But he had that wing over his eye and he couldn't see. Shit, he was a
Blinded.
mile and a half from the spread.
Do y'all hunt cranes up there?
We do hunt cranes up here.
You ever had any bad dog issues with cranes?
No. Can you hold this 1 minute? I got to get a
Yes,
charger
sir.
for my phone. I'm going to get a battery pack. Hold on.
Okay.
Ducks Unlimited. Save the day. Ducks Unlimited battery packs.
I bought that down there, Jeff, and mine won't recharge.
Man, I'm telling you, they're the best things. I use mine all the time. I bet every one of my guides has them. All the bags have them. Them things work good.
Well,
But
does it? How are you recharging yours? Because I'm having
I
trouble.
just Charge it right in the bottom with the little. I use just my new iPhone jack is what I
Okay.
use. Same when I charge my laptop, my Apple laptop, and my iPhone
Yep.
with.
I'm doing that too. I can't get it to charge. Do you have to let it drain all the way out? Or
I've never had a problem at all with it. I mean, I fill it back up.
okay.
This one here's a brand new one. I just took out of the box. It's at 76%, but my phone was about to die. But I think I can maintain where I'm at now. I wasn't paying
Okay.
attention earlier at my
I may
phone.
have to send mine back. Yeah, I may call Ducks Unlimited. I just mine's brand new and it won't recharge.
Well, if you come up this way, I'll just swap you out one.
Okay.
And I'll get it.
Oh.
They're good sponsors. They take care of us. But I've been around a lot of good dogs. I've had the fortune of being a child of. I got to hunt with True Marks Cody one time, who was a national field champion. I hunted with Rough and Ready as a kid growing up. I hunted with Rippin' Blue Thunder, which if you look at any of the bloodlines from back in the days in the 90s and 80s, those were big time dogs.
That True Mark's still a big line.
Yep, Judy and
Strong
Ed
line.
Acock at the time, and they had great dogs. And my dad was blessed enough that one of his dogs that he bred become a True Mark dog.
Hello, this is Kenneth Witt with Gun Dog Nation, and I've got to tell you guys about something that I've gotten hooked on lately. It's Faux-licious. These are gourmet instant pho and ramen bowls that actually taste like the real deal. When I'm out in the field all day and the last thing I want is to settle for bland camp food, Faux-licious is what I go to. It's authentic, the flavor, it's real ingredients, it's ready in just minutes. It's perfect for hunters, fishermen, or anyone on the go. And you can get them over 1,900 Walmarts nationwide, your local HEB here in Texas. Or you can just go online at faux-licious.com. Trust me, once you try it, you'll keep a few stocked in your bag, in your backpack, or for your next adventure. I just want to say this, I want to add this to this commercial because I know the owners of this company. They've hunted on my ranch. Joseph, he and I were actually met in Colorado on a hunting trip that was a real adventure. They are true hunters. They've hunted at the ranch, and I've hunted with them. And Anna, she is just amazing. She's the one that came up with this idea. They were both on Shark Tank. They are amazing people. So I love seeing people like this have a business. And I just had to say that in addition to the commercial because I really believe in the product and I believe in the people that made the product. Be sure and go to faux-licious.com or go to Walmart or HEB and try their product. I promise you, you will like it. Jeff, being an outfitter, as long as you have, do you still have a joy to hunt, or did it kind of take that away because it's work?
Well, I haven't guided a hunt probably since, I'm going to say since the year of 2000. I have not guided a hunt in the last 25 years.
Okay.
I haven't had to guide a
You're the
hunt.
CEO.
I don't want to guide a Well, I scout. I have the job that I do here. In the mornings, I get up at first light. I'm at the field at first light. When shooting time happens, I'm at the field. We run anywhere from 2 to 5 groups a day, every day. Usually, we have 3 or 4 groups every day. I will be at the field watching our hunts. I'll take one group into the field. I'll get to the field right when they're parking trucks. The customers will get in back of my pickup or in my back seat. I'll drive the clients that's driving and the guides back to the field. I'll sit and watch them hunt. And I usually watch my guys hunt for 30 to 45 minutes. Then I'll go scout. It doesn't do me no good to go scout the first hour anyways because the birds are just getting to where they're going to go, for the next day. But
Yeah.
I scout every morning. And then I usually am done scouting by about 8 or 8:30. And a lot of times we're done hunting by then anyways. And then I'll run to town. I'll get the post office. I'll go to the bank, run my errands. And then I get to the lodge. And we'll have anywhere from 30 to 50 people at the lodge every day. Well, we've got a food truck that comes in. I've got ladies that are cleaning rooms. We got maintenance around here. There's always something going on. So I stay busy doing all this other stuff. And then I check people out. I'll get them checked out. Anybody that's leaving that day, I check them out. If not, we have lunch at the lodge. We'll have lunch. And after lunch, usually from 1 to 2:45, I get more stuff done around my lodge than I do all day long because the guides will go take naps. The clients are staying here and that will either be doing afternoon hunts or they're taking naps. And then we scout at 4 o'clock. And then I go scout every day at 4 with the guides that are the lead dogs. And my lead dogs, if we've got 4 groups that day, my 4 main guides will scout with me. And then the helper guides may be doing waterfowl. They may be doing duck hunts in the afternoon. They may be doing pheasant hunts, hog hunts, deer hunts, whatever we're doing.
Gee,
They may be just taking a nap. But We scout from 4 to 6. At 6 o'clock, I get back to the lodge. We have a guides meeting at 6. At 6 o'clock, the ladies open the dining hall. They start serving meals at 6. We have a guide meeting for 10 to 15 minutes. The guides go out. They sit down with my clients. They sit at the tables and visit with them, kind of go over what they're doing. And then we have a table. We have a big bar area in the kitchen area, and it's got 28 seats at it. And that's how many employees we have. My family and employees will be 20. Every seat will be taken up at dinner time in the back in the kitchen area where the guides and we all sit at.
That's a huge. I had no idea. So now, is all your hunting areas on one property, or is it different ranches?
No,
Okay.
no, we hunt about a 20-mile circle from the lodge. Most all of them is within 10 minutes though.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I lie. It's 9 minutes to Knox City, 15 minutes away. Most all my hunting is at least 15 minutes from the lodge. I can do within 15 minutes. We goose hunted in the last couple of years. They've started planting a lot more peanuts right around Knox City. I do most of my goose hunting within 5 minutes of my house.
Wow.
Less than 5 miles from my house, we do 80% of our waterfowl hunting, and I live in Knox City.
Now, do y'all have mule deer there?
We've got some mule deer, not much. I mean, we haven't killed a mule deer ever, but we see. I mean, I'll see a couple of mule deer every season. Most of ours is whitetail that we're shooting.
Okay. Pretty good size.
If you shoot a deer, I've got 3 deer. I'm gonna give myself a plug. I got 3 deer right now that I need to sell, or I got 3 more deer hunts. We shoot a deer 130 to 150 inch deer is what our target deer is.
Yeah.
Now we probably this year, if my guys will be patient, we may shoot a 170 inch deer. I've got one group out of Las Vegas that hunts with me every year, and they bring 9 or 10 guys. And if they would be patient, they would have shot a 170 inch deer the last couple of years. But they see a 140 inch deer and they shoot it every time. But with all the rain we've had this spring, we're going to have some really, really good horns. We got a bachelor herd of bucks right here by the lodge. It's real big. We're seeing right now.
Nice. And do y'all have cotton and peanuts both up there?
We've got more peanuts and milo and wheat than we do cotton, thank God. But we still do have some cotton.
Okay.
Our cotton acres are going away every year.
Now, what do you, if you don't mind me asking, what do you charge on your dove hunts? How does that work?
A dove hunt for this year, and then my price is going to go up next year just because the food costs and stuff's going up. I charge $500 for a weekend dove hunt. You come in on Friday, you hunt Friday afternoon, you have dinner Friday night. Saturday, you get 3 meals, morning, afternoon, and you hunt Sunday morning with breakfast for $500 a person.
What a deal.
And we do. And we're booked up. Like every weekend I have is booked up. I don't know that I even have a weekend open next year, because if you book a hunt with me, I give you the first right to rebook your hunt for next year.
Okay.
So other than the second weekend of season, every weekend is all corporate groups that book, 40 to 50 people at the lodge for themselves. That's pretty much what we do. And then we do a lot of weekday hunts, like Monday to Thursday hunts, Monday to Wednesday hunts. We do at least 4 groups this year of guys that come that they're during the week. So I told Michelle the other day, there's 60 days basically in September and October. There's 31 and 31, so 62, 61 days or something. I don't remember which is 31 and 30, but 60 days. And we're going to have dove hunters 42 out of 60 days right now.
And
and that's a full lodge, sold out, everything.
Y'all can accommodate 50 hunters?
Yeah, we'll have 62 people opening weekend of dove season. I think we can sleep 66 total.
That's incredible. No wonder you got so many employees.
That's 9 rooms, and each room has 6 or 8 beds in them.
Oh man, I've got to come and check that out.
We're not a fancy. You're not going to stay at an Orvis endorsed. The St. Tony Vandemore is a real nice place like they have at Habitat Flats, but it's bunk style rooms. Your group's going to have its own room. Each room has 3 or 4 bunks in it, so it sleeps 6 or 8. Each room has its own private bathroom in it. Then we have a social area where everybody sits. It's got big screen TV, poker table, all that kind of stuff. We got cornhole boards and stuff. And we're going to give you a damn good meal every night, and we're going to have good customer service.
Nice.
But, if you're wanting to spend $4,000 for 3 days of waterfowl hunting, this ain't the place. We'll take your money, but this is not that kind of place. I mean, you're not going to have lobster every night and a chef giving you a 7-course meal. We're going to have all you can eat, whatever you want to eat. We're going to have that night. If we have pot roast, if we've got steak, if we got pork chops, chicken, we have authentic Mexican food because I got authentic Mexican ladies that work for me. So we're going to have real Mexican food, but we're going to give you a great meal and we're going to treat you right. And your host is not going to go run off if the hunting's bad or good. He's going to be here and I visit with everybody. So good, bad, or indifferent, you're going to see me and we're going to talk and we're going to be friends. And we run about 80 to 85% repeat business every year.
Oh, wow. That's something to be said for that. And I have a much smaller operation here, but I tell people when they call this, I'm not the Champions Ranch. I've got axis deer, I got big axis, and I feed you good, and I cook, and I'm a good cook. But that's, it's a small location. But that's crazy.
Yeah, we run a big
Yeah.
operation, but we just don't. We're not our dining hall. We can feed 70 people. We've had a prom out here before. We've had all kinds of events out here before. I don't market it for that. We're a hunting business, and when hunting season's over, I'm ready for some time off. We bust our ass from September through the end of January. But you come February, you're going to find me and Michelle on an airplane going somewhere for 3 or 4 different trips. We like to go.
Now she's your head cook, isn't she?
Well, yeah, Michelle's in charge of the kitchen stuff,
Okay.
and she does a lot of hands-on stuff. But she's got good ladies that work for us
Yeah.
too. But Michelle makes the best chocolate chip cookies probably in the United States, and they are world famous. And we have chocolate chip cookies every day for lunch, homemade ones. And man, people go through them things like crazy. But she does homemade desserts. Like she was doing the menu for opening August 31st. We'll have our first dove hunters come in, and her dessert menu is going to be she makes bread pudding that's out of this world with a whiskey sauce. That's one night's dessert, and then I think the next night's dessert is either going to be a homemade black sheet cake that she does with homemade icing or an ice cream, or she's going to make an Oreo dessert that she makes. But all her desserts are homemade desserts, and people go crazy. But we feed you good. I mean,
Oh
you're
man.
going to have real food and no pre-made bullshit, nothing that we're warming up in a microwave. It's all real food, and that's what we do.
Now, when you guys are duck hunting up there, Jeff, what typically are you killing?
We're going to kill widgeons, mallards, pintails, your puddle ducks.
Okay.
I've got a couple of ponds. I've got a guy that called the other day that wants to shoot some shit ducks, and I call shit ducks ringnecks, redheads, buffleheads. But I've got a guy that he's got a group of guys coming, and they don't get to shoot anything in full color. They want to come in January for 2 days just to shoot weird ducks. And I was like, yeah, I've got a pond with I don't guarantee nothing.
Yeah.
I've got guys that, well, we going to shoot just mallards? No, we're not doing a mallard hunt. We're doing a duck hunt.
Yeah.
You know. And that's the way it is with these shit ducks. I'm sure what'll happen is we're going to do this hunt trying to shoot ringnecks and all these weird diver ducks and buffleheads and shit. And then we're going to end up shooting all mallards and widgeons, and the guy will be pissed because we didn't shoot none of the weird ducks. But that's basically most of our duck hunting is puddle ducks.
Now you run turkey hunts too, right?
Very few. We'll do very few. The eye worm knocked out a lot of our turkey population the last couple of years, so we don't have near the turkeys we used to have. But they're coming back. We'll run a half dozen turkey hunts this year. We don't do very many.
I've just noticed a shortage of turkey here at my place too, so I didn't know what was going on, and that's what it was.
They say eye worm, it really affected them here. We used to hunt in Hobart, Oklahoma, did waterfowl hunting. We got in a drought here in 11, and we had a goose camp in Oklahoma. And man, for 3 years, we just hammered the piss out of the birds. And now there's 8,500 different outfitters running around up there, and it's too much drama. And we've got enough birds here again now, and it's so much easier here at home doing all of our stuff. It was tough for me being back and forth all the time. But turkey wise, up there used to be, I'd say, flocks with 200-300 turkeys in them, a lot of different places.
Yeah.
In the last couple of years, it's 7 and 8 birds. I mean, it's bad there how bad it hurt them.
But to buy this ranch, I sold a farm up in Kentucky, and I see 25 and 30 in a flock of turkeys all the day, every day of the week. You sit in a tree stand and they're just coming like an army. And I've not hunted up there in a while, but I just wonder if it's changed. But yeah, I know it's changed here.
It's the eye worm. They blame it on the raccoons, which I don't buy the raccoon thing as much. I know that the coons are bad, and I know they are, and they're bad everywhere. But We had coons when Daniel Boone was here, and we had turkeys
Yeah.
everywhere. And I know we were doing some trapping back then, a lot of it, but they weren't wiping out that many coons. So I don't know how we can blame it all on coons. I think it's more of a man made problem with the eggshells with some kind of chemical that's gotten in them. You
Yeah.
know, they spray agriculture, spray so much stuff these days.
Yeah. You hear that on the grouse population and everything else. Now, you said that you've got bird dogs, so y'all have quail. What's your? Is that mostly quail?
We do pheasant hunts. I've got a lot of quail though now, but I'm not going to do quail hunts. I've got a good friend of mine, Douglas Fell from Kansas City. He's a big upland hunter. I'm going to save a place for him for quail, and me and him are going to go out and shoot quail when he comes down this year. But I don't. We don't do very many quail
Okay.
hunts. I don't. I have the birds this year to do it, but I just don't mess with it.
Yeah. We got. I've just. This is the first year I've seen quail on this ranch in 6 years.
Yeah, well, it's a great year for quail. Man, we've had so much rain this spring and summer.
Yeah.
But I told a guy the other day in town was asking me about it. I said they're here today, but they can be gone tomorrow. And I'll give you a good example of that. Next week we're going to be in the 70s for highs. Normally right now it's going to be 101 today, probably 99. And I think I saw one day the high 72. So we're going to have rain and we're going to have a 30 to 40 degree temperature change. I think in the lows are going to be around 60. So we've been around at 100, 105, and now we're going to be 60. So that's almost a 50-degree temperature change. Those quail, they get sick, they're dead.
Yeah.
And it don't take long to wipe them out. And I've seen them so many times have a freak cold front come in or just a big weather change, and they're dead. You don't see them no more. So
They're
I'm going to wait until quail season gets here to see what it's like.
they're so fragile. So I didn't realize you pheasant. Is it wild pheasant?
No,
Okay.
we release birds. I've got some pheasants that actually have made it for 2 years now that I'm seeing around. So they're there, but you're shooting release birds. But hell, if you go hunting North Dakota or South Dakota now, you're shooting release birds with the wild birds.
Yeah, because they restore up there so much.
Yeah, they supplement their birds like crazy. They have to.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never seen anything. I hunt South Dakota every year, and they're like mosquitoes. You know.
It's amazing, man. I drove through South Dakota and North Dakota. The very first time I drove through there, I was just absolutely amazed seeing all the pheasants and the deer and the ducks in the ditches and in the playas. And I thought right then, if I won the lottery, everybody wants to buy a house in the Caribbean. I'd buy me a place up here
Yeah.
in the Dakotas. I would just love to have a place to live, to be up there in September and October. I wouldn't want to be there in January and February,
Same.
but September and October, I could handle it.
I hunt there the third week of October every year, and for the last few years, and I've been sunburned up there in October hunting.
Oh, it can be hot.
And there's only been one day that I've hunted of all these times in October that it got really cold. Like high 20s. But normally it'll be 70 degrees, 80 degrees, and you're burning up. Your dogs are hot, and you sometimes had to quit hunting. To cool your dogs down, but.
Me and Andy were in northern Saskatchewan, right on the edge of the boreal forest, around a place called Tobin Lake, and it was the week before Thanksgiving, or week before Halloween, and it was 70 degrees up there while we were there. We hunted waterfowl up there for 2 weeks almost. We got home, and I saw more geese when I got home in Knox City, Texas, than I did when I was in Canada. The last 3 days I was in Canada, because we just weather-wise, there hadn't been no weather, and we get a lot of calendar birds. But yeah, you can burn your ass up in the Dakotas real quick if it's warm.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that when I first started. But do you get out to hunt other states much? Do you have time?
I No, not really. I don't. The problem is that I get invited to so many cool places. I mean, I bet I get at least 10 invites a year to places that I would die to go for, and most people would die. I've got invited to go to some great duck places in Stuttgart. A lot of places, a lot of the corporate guys have invited me out to their places, and I just don't have time because we're so busy. But we're busy from September all the way through January. Well, October. 10 years ago, we quit dove hunting about the end of September, and I didn't dove hunt in October. Now we run as many dove hunters in October as we do September. Me and Michelle usually go to the somewhere in north in the fall. We'll go to Vermont or New Hampshire, Maine, Green Bay, somewhere every fall. Well, This year, I don't know when I'm going to work that trip in because I'm only going to have 4 or 5 days open the whole month to go do nothing. So if I get 5 days off instead of me going hunting, me and Michelle usually go somewhere.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I'm around hunting. I've been hunting. I've been in this hunting business a long time, and I love what I do. But to kill something is just does not. It just doesn't do nothing for me as much as seeing the birds. I love to watch my guys hunt. I don't mind going and videoing. I'll shoot some field ducks. I love to shoot field ducks. But other than that, I don't. It's just not that big a deal to me.
You know, the older I get just as much satisfaction watching my dogs work, and that's what I enjoy.
And that was the way my dad became. And my dad loved to hunt, and he got sick. He died of lung cancer. So the last 3 years of his life, he was pretty sick. But the year before he died, he still was doing pheasant hunting. He had stage 4 lung cancer from his guiding pheasant hunts. But he loved to run dogs. Absolutely loved to watch the dogs, and that was his pleasure.
Now, what's your brother's role there at the outfitter?
Tony takes care of everything on the outside, and I take care of everything on the inside.
Okay.
So, but scouting wise, I take care of the scouting in the mornings, and then Tony scouts our cranes and stuff like that. Tony will scout for that. Tony will hunt up north. You asked me earlier about crane hunting and dogs, and I'm sorry. Then my phone died. I'm a big fan of crane hunting. I'm not a fan of crane hunting with a dog.
Yeah.
And guys say, well, I've got they put the goggles on a dog and stuff. You're keeping your dog from getting blinded, but what if that crane sticks his beak through his brain or what? I don't understand the reason to have a dog on a crane hunt other than to save steps.
Yeah, I've done it one season and was lucky, but then I heard more stories from doing this podcast. It changes my outlook big time.
I've never had anybody have a dog have an injury with a crane.
Yeah.
I've seen some geese whoop a dog's ass a couple of times, but I've never seen a crane ever hurt one of them. But I've heard too many stories.
Yeah.
And I don't see reason. I don't understand if you go on a guided hunt why you want to take a dog anyways, other than the guides. Now, I get people that call me all the time, and they don't go nowhere unless they take Fido with them. And I understand that that's their pet, that's their buddy, and that dog is bred to hunt. And if you go hunting, you want your dog to go. But we make you have to have a private group to bring a dog on a hunt with us. If you don't have a private dog, you're not bringing it. If you don't have a private hunt, you're not bringing a dog, because I've seen too many times a dog messes up a good hunt.
Yeah, and I see both sides of that argument, Jeff, and fully agree with you. I'm one of those that I want to hunt with my dog, but I've got a fully trained dog. But you're exactly right. I wouldn't want to go and have a dog that's green or not trained correctly and ruin everybody else's hunt, because that's what will happen. But I see
It
your
happens.
side.
I've seen guys come up here together in 2 pickups, and I've seen guys leave in 1 truck and one guy and the dog drive home by themselves because everybody's pissed off at him.
Yeah.
And you can tell a man, listen, bud, your wife's got a fat ass and he won't get mad.
Yeah.
But if you tell him your dog sucks, boy, they get personal about that shit.
It's fighting words.
Yeah, and it's crazy. So that's our policy on a dog. If you have a private group and you want to bring a dog, you go right ahead.
Yeah.
And if your dog jacks up that hunt, that's on you, not on us. Because I've seen dogs break. I've seen everything can happen with the dog. One of my biggest pet peeves is guys that want to train a dog
While
they're hunting.
Yeah.
You know, and training before,
Yeah.
and he just
it's an expensive it's an expensive training session, isn't it?
yes. My biggest question during dove season is can I bring a dog? And I tell people all the time, listen, dove's different. If you want to bring a dog, your dog's not going to mess up a dove hunt. I don't care. But if your dog gets bit by a rattlesnake, that's on you. I've never had one happen, but it could happen. We've got rattlesnakes. I had a guy get bit by one once. Rattlesnakes are a problem, and heat strokes are a problem.
Yeah, it is. That time of year.
Purina Pro Plan. Here at Gundog Nation, we use Purina Pro Plan for our dogs. We actually use the Sport Performance Edition, which is 30% protein and 20% fat, the beef and bison. It contains glucosamine, omega-3s for their joints. It also contains amino acids for muscles and antioxidants. And it also has probiotics. It's guaranteed to have live probiotics in each serving. There's no artificial colors or flavors. We see the difference in our dogs. We see the difference in their coat, their performance, their endurance, and also in recovery. Be sure to use Purina Pro Plan dog food. The reputation speaks for itself. There's a reason that Purina has been around for such a long time. We suggest that you use it, and we are so proud to be sponsored by Purina Dog Food.
Yeah, and so that's what I tell them. Don't. That's the only thing I worry about with a dog. I had a guy yesterday was coming on a big dove hunt with me. He said, "I think you've talked me out of bringing my dog after you told me that." I said, "Listen, I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I'm just telling you what the problem is during dove season. Is you got to watch out for rattlesnakes and you got to watch out for heat strokes. Now, if it's 72 for a high, you're going to take out the variable of a heat stroke. But if it gets down, if it's 72 for a high, them rattlesnakes are going to be moving like crazy going back to dens because they're going to start trying to den up pretty fast this year."
Yes. Never thought about that.
Yeah, once it gets cool, that's our time, our snake time. Once goose season gets here, I don't worry about snakes. Now, I've seen us kill a rattlesnake at the lodge on Christmas break one time. It warmed up to about 85 degrees. You know, when I first got up out here or lived out here, once Thanksgiving was here or even Halloween and it started getting cold, you didn't see snakes again until March or April. These mild winters we've had, these rattlesnakes will come out of their den in January, December, whenever. As soon as it warms up, they'll start coming out of their dens again.
Yeah.
They used to not do
I hear
that.
a lot of ranchers. I've not witnessed it so much here, but I've talked to a lot of ranchers that said that's happened around me.
Yes, pretty common. It's just been an environmental change.
Jeff, tell me a little bit about your podcast, man. You've got a great show. It's highly entertaining, and you do a little segment every day almost, right?
We do the today, and then we do the did you knows. That's just random stuff that we do. Then we do 3 podcasts a week, our regular podcast, and we're the world's largest waterfowl podcast.
Nice.
The waterfowl podcast guys say, well, they're not really a waterfowl podcast. Well, we're about as waterfowl as you can get. I mean, we do it from a lodge. It's in the waterfowl business, but we don't talk about just waterfowl stuff because that would get really boring after a while. This week we had a guy on that works at Ducks Unlimited that is a sound guy from them that won a Grammy. We had him on today, or an Emmy, not a Grammy. He won an Emmy. We had him on today. We had the lady on from Ducks Unlimited last week that's the curator of the museum there. We had a redneck on. We had Trevor Shanahan, world champion goose caller, was on with us this week. We had, I can't remember who else we had on this week, but we do all kinds of stuff.
I think I met him at your booth with your brother.
Probably did.
Unlimited. Yeah.
Yep, he just won both championships there. He won both contests. Trevor's a good friend of mine. I got his world championship. If you look right here, that goose in the middle right there, that is his world championship. I think that's the first one he won, the world championship in Easton. He gave me that decoy. He's won it 3 or 4 times, and that's the world championship goose calling trophy. It's a joke decoy. But we have all kinds of people on. We'll have waterfowl guys on. We'll have a priest on. We'll have a preacher on. We'll have a guy. We had a guy on that found the Ebola virus. I've had a drug smuggler on before from us. Roger Reeves. That's got a book out called The Smuggler that's on Amazon. He's the one that actually taught Barry Seals that American Made show. He's the one that found him and got him involved with the drug cartels. I've got a redneck guy named Coyote Man Clay Reed that's been on with us a dozen times. I've had Wyman Minzer on with us. He's a professor at Tech. He's a state waterfowl, the official state photographer of Texas. Does all the King Ranch commercial pictures for them. We just all kinds of people, and we'll just have a random guy on that's a public waterfowl hunter in Illinois, and then I might have a guy on in California that's a pot farmer. But we go all over the place. But I found that waterfowl hunters have different interests other than just waterfowl hunting.
Well, I'm going to ask your advice on this show. I know it's not time and place, but see, I want to do that too. And I was always scared. The only thing I do, Jeff, is, there's 5 million retriever podcasts because retrievers are the most owned dog and it's most popular. I'm not criticizing that. But I grew up hunting all breeds. I love all hunting breeds, and I've actually owned about everything. And I started out with protection dogs too. I still do that. I'm rambling, but my point is, I want to have a variety of topics on, and I just wonder if it would hurt the show, if I alienate my listeners. So what's your thoughts about that?
Oh, I'm sure we've pissed off and lost lots of listeners over the year because we talk about everything and we cuss and we talk about everything. The only thing we haven't had on our show is a porn star, and we've had two different offers to do one, and I'm like, I'm not touching that deal because I would ask some questions that a lot of guys would want to ask that probably would make my wife pissed off or someone else. We just have shunned on that one.
Yeah.
But we talk about everything. I mean, there's nothing that we won't talk about. We talk about racism. We talk about stereotypes. We probably are stereotype or racist on some things. I'm not a big fan of the Muslims. I've talked a lot about that. If I piss somebody off, they won't listen to it again. But our numbers keep going up.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I've got a farmer that I hunt on, him and his wife, and I messaged her the other day about something, and she called me back, and she goes, "Oh, I just loved your podcast this week, blah blah." And I couldn't believe she listened to the damn thing. I was shocked, but it did not hurt us at all. When the first time we started doing what we call the World on Fire, and about every 3 weeks, me and Andy will do a World on Fire. We'll just talk about all the shit going on in the world, whatever the news topic is. And a guy reached out to me and he said, "Well, he said I sure enjoy your podcast, but he said with y'all talking that way, y'all will never get any podcast sponsors at all." Well, we've got a pretty good group of podcast
It's,
sponsors.
it's a pretty long list.
It is, and it's the who's who in the waterfowl business.
Yeah.
And those people know that the people that buy their products listen to the same stuff that I listen to, and they talk about the same stuff. We just ain't afraid to talk about it. We say
Yeah.
stuff that I've had guys, a lot of guys that say, "Man, I want to be on your podcast, but man, at work they'll go, and we'll have to watch what we say and stuff." And when I have a preacher on, we don't cuss. We have a priest
Yeah.
on, we don't cuss. I got a redneck coyote guy on, we're probably going to say some cuss words. If we're talking about Nancy Pelosi, we're probably going to use the C word. That's just the way we are.
I'll tell you this. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm a huge fan. I listened to y'all all the way when I drove to Memphis to the Delta Unlimited to set up a booth. Listen to y'all going and coming, and I'm a huge fan.
Well, I do appreciate that very much, and we have an eclectic group of people, but we talk about a lot of different subjects, and we're going to continue to go down that path. And if someone's got a story to tell, everybody has a story to tell. It's just getting the story out of them because the guy that does, you take the most common thing that you think, a guy driving a chip route working for Frito-Lay. If you talk to him and ask the right questions, he's got some damn funny stories. He deals with people all day long.
Yes.
And people want to hear about that. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we like to talk about. I got a guy reached out to me the other day that's a Bigfoot guy. Again, I've had a couple of Bigfoot people on. I've yet to find one that actually has seen a Bigfoot, but by God, they think they have.
Yeah.
But I like talking to people like that. But I want to get a guy on that's a Bigfoot guy that's an actual scientist or something that can give me some facts of why he really thinks that there's a Bigfoot in the world. I'm not saying there's not. I've never seen one. I know there's mountain lions around here because I've seen one.
Yeah.
I know there's bears, more bears in Texas because people see them. I haven't seen one in Texas, but I don't know anybody that has seen a Bigfoot. They say they have, but I don't know anybody that's actually seen one.
Me either.
But that's the kind of stuff people want to hear about. If someone out there has been abducted by an alien, buddy, sign me up. I want you on my podcast because I want to ask you some questions.
Yeah. I get it. Well, you've inspired me. I've got some ideas. Like I said, there's stuff I don't have a lot of talents in the world, Jeff. I say it all the time, but I have the gift of gab, and I've been a landman, a lawyer, and a politician. I probably can't do anything else but talk to people, and I'm truly interested.
Yeah, and that's what people want to hear about, though, because people want to talk to people that have something different than they do.
Yeah.
If you go to work, the majority of our podcast listeners are guys that work in an office or a construction site or where they work, but they're in their vehicle. Some of them drive to work 30 minutes a day. Some of them drive to work 5 minutes. Some of them are in a vehicle 10, 12 hours a day. Truck drivers, we got a lot of truck drivers, but they listen to different stuff. Well, they don't want to hear about the same shit they do. They want to hear somebody else talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And they want to hear their talk about the shit they've seen in their day and their experiences. And that's kind of like, and that's what we like talking about. I want to talk to people that's got something different than me. If some guy calls me up and he says, "Hey, I'm a waterfowl guide in Mississippi and we hunt 20 people a day. We want to, I want to hear the stories of all the screwed up shit that goes on. I don't want to hear about you shooting mallards. I don't care because you can only talk so much about shooting a duck or a goose."
Yeah. That's true. It's the same way with dog training. I'm not.
Yes.
I have trainers on here and stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. Bob Hood used to he tell me the funniest dog story ever, or one that I remember. Do you know who Bob Hood was?
No, sir.
Bob Hood was the outdoor writer for the Fort Worth Star Telegram back when people used to, read a newspaper every day. The only job he ever had. Started working delivering papers there, I think, when he was 10, and he retired from there when he was 66, I think, or something. He worked 50 something years for the Fort Worth Star Telegram. He's a good friend of mine and my dad's. Anyways, Bob hunted up here 4 or 5 times a year, and he went on a hunt one time, and he had this old bird dog. And they was at this hunting club. They used to have a hunting club at Jacksboro, and it was a high fence ranch. And I cannot for the life of me remember what it was, but it was there forever years ago. And they went up there and they did release quail hunt. And this guy would let the quail out and stuff. And Bob took his dog. And Bob said that or this guy had his dog. Bob said they pulled up to the place, and Bob said, "Man, I drank too much coffee and I had to shit so bad." He said, "I went over behind the woods and took a shit behind a wood over something." He says, "Oh, guy lets his old bird dog out." And he said, "I watched that old bird dog run all over." And he said, "Some bitch goes right to where I took a shit. That dog rolled in that shit and rolled in that shit." And he come running up to that old guy and he rubbing all over that guy. That guy's like, "Oh, damn, got into some cow shit." And the guy's kind of petting on him and stuff. And I was like, "Oh my gosh," But oh God, Bob was a good guy. But stuff like that, that's what.
Yeah.
But because people can relate to it and they think it's funny and they're interested in that shit.
But you also have done stand up, right? Hello, this is Kenneth Witt, and Gundog Nation is proud to have one of their sponsors as Retriever Training Supply, based in Alabama. Retriever Training Supply offers fast shipping on quality gear. Your dog will love it. Visit retrievertrainingsupply.com to purchase gear to help you train your retriever. Listen, they have some of the best leashes I've ever found. It's stuff's made in America. Their leashes are, and they source them locally. They have anything you want, fast, friendly service, fast shipping, just good people. Retriever Training Supply.
Yes, I did some stand up a couple times and enjoyed the hell out of it. Pissed some people off, but yes, my target audience was one night I went and did it at an all black comedy club, and that was not my target audience. But I found a big fat black lady in the front row that I could make fun of, and me and everybody else around her had a really good time. I think that lady probably would kill me today still if she ever saw me again.
Oh man, I was still thinking, I don't know if we talk about it on here, but your brother tell me the story about you going through the drive-through and pretending to be an FBI agent. That might be the funniest thing I've heard in a long time.
That's a dog-related story too. So I pulled into we pulled into Whataburger, and it was late. It's 11:30, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if we'd been on a casino run to Oklahoma or if we'd been tornado chasing. But I'm a retired judge. I was a judge for a long time, and I was a mayor for a long time. And so I have the volunteer fire department. I've got a radio for the sheriffs, all that, and it's in my truck. Well, I keep it on all the time low. Well, in Wichita Falls, their 911 for their ambulance and stuff is the same frequency as ours is out here for our just sheriff's office. So it goes off every once in a while. I'm in Wichita, they get an ambulance call. We're at McDonald's, not Whataburger. We're at McDonald's. And I pull into at Burke Burnett, Texas. I pull into the deal, and about time we pull to pay, my radio goes off. And this lady looked like she was about one glass jar away from being a full-blown meth addict at the window there. And she looks up at me and she goes, "Are you a cop?" I said, "Well, ma'am, I'm not supposed to say this," but I said, "I'm with the FBI." She's like, "Oh." I said, "Can I ask you a few questions?" And my buddies are like, "What is he going to do here, And she's like, "Yes, I always cooperate with the police. I'm very, very, very pro-police officer." I said, "Well, I appreciate that much." I said, and I'm not going to say my buddy's name because his name's Keith Hennett, and I don't want everybody to know I'm talking about him. So, Keith, I said, do you know who Keith is?" She goes, "I do know who he is." I said, "Does he still live over by that elementary school?" "Yes, he does." I said, "Have you seen him with the German Shepherd lately?" "No, sir." I said, "You haven't seen that dog?" She goes, "No, sir. Why?" I said, "I bet we're too late to the guys next to me." And they're like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Huh?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Now, you don't mind answering these questions?" "Oh, sir, I work with the cops all the time." I said, "Well, ma'am," I said, "he's been having sexual relations with this dog and it's on the dark web, and we're fixing to arrest him for animal cruelty." That sick son of a bitch. And she got all mad and stuff. And then she gave us our food and we drove off. Never, ever said a word about it at all.
I'm from a small town. I can't imagine the gossip going around about that poor guy.
I'm telling you. And he didn't even know. About 2 years later, he was up here and I was like, "I got your ass good. You don't even know it."
Oh
But
Lord.
I had owed him. He'd pulled some pranks on me when we were younger, and I'm way, way, way ahead now because I've done some other
Yeah.
things to him. But that was the cream of the crop. But
That's
yeah,
that's hard to top.
I got a lot of stories. Which being in this business, I got a lot of them I can't tell, and I've got a lot of stories, and I'm I got blessed with the gift of gab, I guess, because I like to talk.
Well, I sure enjoy it, man. Yeah, we I know every time we get together, it's there's no silence between us. What few
What,
times we've got
what,
talked in person.
what's your next show you're going to?
You know, the only thing I know of right now is really like wild turkey, and we try to get on the wait list there. I think I'm number 300, so there'd be no chance of that. I'd love
That's
to
a hell of a
go.
show. That that show and Ducks Unlimited show are by far the two best shows that we done this year or have been to in a long time.
Yeah.
Turkey's. Have you been to Turkey then a lot of times?
No, back in Kentucky, I belong to the local organization in my hometown there, but I've never been to the national convention.
It reminded me a lot of Ducks Unlimited. You know how busy it was on Saturday?
Yeah,
That's what the turkey like. It's a really good time. The first time I went to it, I was absolutely shocked because I'm not a big turkey hunter. I mean, we do turkey hunts, and back when I had a lot of turkeys, we would run 20, 30 turkey hunts a year. Not a ton, but we just run one at a time. But when we went there the first time, I thought these people are ate up with this turkey shit,
yeah.
and they are. It is wall to wall in that place.
And I've turkey hunted. I've killed Osceolas. I've killed everything but a Miriam. I had no idea. I had no idea.
Oh,
I figured duck hunting was bigger, but they say that
oh,
convention is just crazy.
it is, but I'm going to tell you right now, the waterfowl hunters are taking over a bunch of that. Now they're not taking it over because the turkey hunting's still king, but there is a lot of waterfowl because it mixes together. I mean, you're decoying a bird, you've got the same equipment, but
Yeah, using the
all of our
call.
big sponsors, all of our big sponsors are at Turkey also. I mean,
Yeah,
every one of them is there, and so they all go to Turkey. That everybody that's at Ducks Limit almost is at Turkey if you can get a booth.
yeah.
Then I do 5 shows a year every year. We go to
Okay.
Turkey, we go to Bass Classic with Maddie Robertson, Boss and Onum we go to Delta, Ducks Unlimited, and then we do Squad Fest. And that's the 5 shows I do every single year.
I might you mentioned to me a little bit about Squad Fest. I need to try that. See, I'm fairly new at the shows. I mean, this I've only done this podcast. This is 11 months. So I'm but I love it. I love doing this. I love going to shows and meeting people, and that's how I met you.
Yeah, it's a great networking deal. I told Michelle when we went to Ducks Unlimited this year, we pulled in and me and Tony, we hadn't had a booth or Stanfield Hunting, we hadn't had a booth in we hadn't done a show since 2019 on our own. We go with Boss all the time, so we've got all their stuff, or it's their booth. We just help out, stand, visit, bullshit with people, and so Duck Slim's a sponsor, and we got a booth there, and our booth was a put together ragtag booth compared to what we had. And I told Michelle, I said, I felt like I did that first time in 1993 when me and Tony went to hunt show together. We went to the Texas Trophy Hunters in Fort Worth, and all these guys had these big wooden booths and all these mounts and shit. And we had an old 2x4 booth we stuck together with some paper we got at Kinko's to show people where Knox City, Texas was. But we had a TV and a VCR with the goose hunting video that none of them had, and it was a bang up show for us. We had people all over us because of what we had, but I didn't feel like I fit in. And so I told Michelle this year when we went, I said, I feel like I hadn't been to a show in so long. I'm the new guy on the block again. But I know everybody, so it's a whole different
Yeah.
atmosphere. But it's the show deal. Those are the only shows that are really thriving. There's a waterfowl show this weekend in Wisconsin that's really growing big time, and I may go to that next year. It's in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's waterfowl something or another. But it is this weekend coming up in Oshkosh, but there's not very many shows like there used to be. Texas has got 3 shows, and I went to the Trophy Hunters on last weekend in Fort Worth. It was terrible.
Really?
Oh, it's just beef jerky, glass cleaning stuff. Get your boots shined. Buy a ranch. Buy beef jerky. Do that. I mean, there was very few outfitters there back in the day. That was the shows to go to. They were packed. But that was also, I'm so old that I was doing this before the internet was around and before everybody had, well, before Bass Pro Shops was nowhere but in Springfield, Missouri, and
Yeah.
Nebraska had only Cabela's.
Yeah, I guess, I've been a lifetime member at Texas Trophy Hunters for probably 10, 12, 13 years maybe, but I've never got to go to their shows. Now that you've told me that, don't know
If
that I
I was
want
going to
to.
go to one, I would go to the one in San Antonio, which I think was last weekend. Is the one I would go to. I went to Fort Worth just to be nosy. Me and Michelle went and spent the night in the stockyards, went out and ate, and we went to the it took us an hour to walk through. And I've been in this business 30 plus years in Texas. That's my home show for years. And I didn't see 15 people that I knew in there.
Wow.
I saw people walking in the crowd that I knew that I talked to, but I didn't see 15 vendors in there that I absolutely know that I knew. I can go to a show anywhere in the United States and see 15 vendors that I know just from being in
Yeah.
this business this long. Friends of mine. And
Yeah.
but it was just, it's so different than what it used to be like. And I tried to get a booth because I have a couple of deer hunts to sell. And I thought, shit, after we go to this one, we'll just go to Fort Worth and set up a booth. And they tried to bid me over on a booth. Well, they didn't try to bid me. I tried to get a deal on them, but they're like, "Oh, we're sold out. We can't make you a deal." Or they weren't sold out, but they wouldn't cut a discount. And hell, a third of their space there was nobody in.
Really?
It was terrible. The Ducks Unlimited. Can you imagine what the waiting line's going to be to get into that next year?
No, that was well, it was my first one, but compared to the Delta Waterfowl one, it was insane.
Oh, it was
That
it
Saturday.
was so much better. The most
Yeah.
That is the most organized show I've ever been to in my entire life, and I have
Yes.
been to a bunch of them. I've been to the Harrisburg show, I've been Denver, I've been Phoenix, I've been Albuquerque, I've been all over doing hunting shows in 30 something years, and that's the most organized show I've ever been to in my life. When you pulled in out there on that dock, and those guys loaded your stuff up and took it upstairs for you, and time you parked and got to your booth, your stuff was there. Never seen that before ever at a hunting show.
When you're getting ready to go on your next hunting trip, make sure you pack the most efficient and reliable ammunition on the market. Migra Ammunition brings you the most diverse loads on the market. Migra's patented stacked load technology is the epitome of efficiency. Two shot sizes stacked together to create the most diverse and efficient line of shot shells in the industry. It doesn't matter what flyway, what state, or what the weather, the standard remains the same. At Migra, reliable loads that perform in any condition every single time. We're proud to have Migra Ammunition as a sponsor for Gundog Nation. Yeah. Well, the one thing I liked, and I went to Pheasant Fest. I did go to that. I do that one. I've only been once, but the one thing I did like about Delta Waterfowl, and it wasn't near the crowd, but they came and unloaded us and loaded us back up. I opened my tailgate in my truck, and here's 2 or 3 people surrounding me. I didn't know what was going
At,
on.
at Ducks Unlimited or Delta?
At Delta.
Okay, Ducks Unlimited. That's what they did for us too, but not
And
at
we had
Delta.
to
But
take
I
our
didn't
own.
at Delta. I went with Boss, and I didn't. Me and Michelle didn't go till
Yeah.
Thursday night, and the show started Friday, and everything was already set up when we got there. But
Well,
Dirk does
I got
that.
to
He
tell you
does such a
something.
good job.
I've got to tell you something you said. Now I can't wear a cap that I bought, but I'd ordered this cap from Duck Camp. It had a Labrador Retriever on its camo. I thought the logo looked cool, and I'm a dog guy, right? So, and we was coming back from some show, and I had you on speakerphone in my truck, and you were talking about Squaw Fest. You said it was all flat bills there, and it hit me what you were referring to. So I put that cap on, and I look like Spanky on Little Rascals. It barely would fit my head because those flat bill hats are low profile, and I got a big old head. I mean, I've got a big size head, and anyway, I thought about what you said. I can't wear that hat now.
It's a flat, and I'm gonna tell you, you go to Squad Fest is great if you want to sell products and stuff. Those guys are buying stuff like crazy. It's a great show for the consumer, 100%. But there's a huge portion of that crowd is flat bills. That's what I call them young guys.
Yeah,
Those 16 to 30-year-old guys that are in the hunting shows got the old hat like that.
yeah.
Them suckers are everywhere, and that is Squad Fest is a flat bill hat. I mean, I'm telling you, they're everywhere. There ain't no old. I mean, there's old people. There's a little bit of everything. It's a good show, but it is flat bill city over there. And anybody goes, and Asher and them at Squad Fest will tell you they got tons of flat bills go that place. If you're
Well,
selling goose and duck calls, it is the place to go because them call manufacturers sell so much stuff like crazy. Those
yeah.
kids, those 10, 12-year-old kids, they've got $150 to spend, and by God, they're going to buy them a $150 call.
Yeah.
That's what they're going for.
Soon as I got back from Ducks Unlimited and you told me that on my way home, I talked to you, and I got that box in the mail, and I was so excited because I'm a cap freak. Anyway, I got that out of the box and stuck that on, and I thought I'll never be able to wear this cap. I'll be thinking about Jeff Stanfield's comment. And
Yeah, but if I saw you, I'd be, look at that old guy wearing that flat bill over there.
yeah, the old man wearing a flat bill.
Yeah, and I don't ever see that. We hunt so many people, so I see everything. I can tell you which college football team is good by October 1st because that's the T-shirt and the caps everybody wears. When Baylor was good a couple years ago, every other person was a Baylor Bear. I ain't seen a Baylor Bear in 5 years now, but
Yep.
it's crazy. I don't ever see an old guy wearing a flat bill here ever.
I'm gonna give mine to my son, my youngest. He wears caps a little bit, so he'll fit right in.
Oh, he'll love it, but that's
Yeah.
their style. It's just they don't fit my big ass head.
Well, and that's me, and it's such a they're so low profile that like I said, I look like Spanky on Little Rascals. I mean, it's not a good look for me. But anyway, well, Jeff, I know you're covered up, busy man, and I'd like to actually have another episode or 2 or 3 with you.
Anytime.
When you
I
get time.
enjoy. Yes, I love being on other podcasts because I don't ever get to be the guest. I ask questions all the time, so I love being on. So I would love to. Anytime you need someone on, you holler at me. I'd love to be on again.
That's fine. I
And I
know
hope you
we'll
come
find stuff.
see it. You need to come see us sometime. You're always welcome up here. Anytime.
I will come up. I'll be driving up through that way. I'm getting ready to go hunt Montana and stuff.
You won't be coming this way from Fort McCavitt.
That's right. I'll probably go through Amarillo, I guess.
Yes. But anytime you get up this way, are you free this winter and you want to come up for a day or two, holler at me. We'd love to have you.
I do have to go up in Oklahoma to pick up a dog, so when I do that, I actually do drive your way.
Well, you just let me know when, and
Okay.
we'll damn sure get together for sure.
How far are you from Woodson?
Oh, about let me think. 45 minutes, maybe.
Okay,
An hour.
I'm going there to pick up a dog trailer next week.
Oh, from the guy that's got it's got Throckmorton's got all the dogs.
Yeah, Jones
holler-
Trailers.
Yeah, holler at me next week when you get up this way. We'll go eat lunch
Okay.
at least. You
All
see
right.
this picture behind me right here?
Yes.
That's my dad, and that's 74 mallards.
Jeez.
When I was a kid growing up, our limit was 100 shells. So whatever we shot in 100 shells is when we quit hunting.
Wow.
Now
Different time.
that hunt right there, I was not part of. That was my dad and another guy that was a fireman and another guy, and they're all three are dead now. So the statute of limitations has run out on that deal. But there's 74 mallards in that picture, and I think there's a couple pintails in there too. But what's crazy is that picture was taken 7 miles from where I live,
Gee.
and I grew up 100 miles away from here. But we grew up hunting out here. But that's my dad.
And that's
right
how you
there,
got down there.
That's how I knew about this place from hunting. I hunted out here the whole time as a kid growing up. But that's my dad, and that picture's taken around 1981, we figured.
You'd been about 12 or 13.
Yep. I got to shoot a lot of birds growing up. I had a lot
too.
of fun. But it was a good life. I'm telling you right now, these kids today, they've got a lot more, I don't know, technology and stuff, but I don't think they have near the childhoods that we did growing up.
I feel the same way. I grew up right next to the river, Middle Fork River, Kentucky, and I loved it.
Yeah, the kids, they just don't. They don't realize how blessed we were, and I didn't know I was poor till I got older. I mean, because everybody was the same. Life was just so much simpler back then. And me and Andy argue about this all the time, but and every generation goes through it because they think they grew up in this wonderful time. But man, these kids today, I feel sorry for them. They don't have the outlets even. If you're a 16-year-old kid and your family don't own land or you're not friends with a kid, how are you going to get a place to go hunt these days?
You're exactly right. And listen, moving from Kentucky where, you could hunt cheap or, and moving to Texas, I was in shock at what it cost to deer hunt.
Oh
even get
yeah.
on a lease. I was like, good. So all my friends in Kentucky, when I moved here, like, hey man, can you get me deer hunting down there? I was like, you better jerk out a checkbook and you come to Texas to hunt because it's not cheap.
No, nowhere it is, and
Yeah,
that's exactly right. But when I was a kid, even around Wichita Falls, a town of 100,000 people, I could go outside of town 5 miles and knock on the door and stuff, and we could dove hunt or shoot quail or shoot ducks, and nobody
yeah,
cared. You can't do that no more. Deer
no,
hunting has changed a bunch of that because even out here, when I first got out here, we didn't have a lot of deer leases like there are now. Now every acre's leased up out here,
yeah,
so you could get on a place if you've seen this. Well, these kids today out here, they can't go nowhere to hunt.
yeah, no,
Local guys will ask me about a hunt all the time, and I don't advertise this because I don't. But I don't ever charge. If someone local out here wants to take their kid on a hunt, and I can work them in, I do. I don't ever charge them for that. I
yeah,
didn't. I couldn't. My dad couldn't afford to pay for me to go, but I can't afford to take 30 free kids every day either.
yeah.
But there just ain't the outlet for these kids no more like there used to be. And even, I mean, I live in a town of 1,000 people. It's a farming and oil community, and you think, but these you can't get on. And I know if the kids here can't get on them in the bigger cities, you damn sure ain't gonna get nowhere to hunt. If your
No,
dad's not
no.
paying for a big lease, you're screwed.
Yeah, and these leases are outrageous. A deer
I
lease,
want to talk.
especially.
I want to talk about one thing before we get off here.
Yes,
We do a gold star hunt every year, and it's
yes,
for kids. It's for kids whose parents have either passed away being in the military or a first responder. Sponsored Mossberg sponsors it. They give us guns for every kid gets a gun when they leave and stuff. And that hunt's the first weekend in October. I've got openings for a couple of Gold Star kids. I've had some kids bail on me. So if anybody out there knows a kid whose dad is a first responder or mom and they passed away and this kid needs a place to come hunt. We do it the first weekend in October. Kids get a helicopter hog hunt. They get to dove hunt. It don't cost nothing. And they get a gun. They get all kinds of goodies. All my sponsors donate money and all kinds of stuff. They get the most awesome. It's like going to Ducks Unlimited and winning the big raffle. They get that much stuff with them. DU sponsors it. They give a bunch of stuff. But anyways, reach out to me if you know a couple of kids. And I had a kid last year whose brother committed suicide, and we had him out here. So it don't have to be. I mean, if there's a kid that's in need that's had a death in his family, and we can help him out, we sure like to do it. But we've got an opening for a couple of kids if you know anybody.
how many can you accommodate, Jeff? Or how
Oh,
many
we
will you
do
have?
12. We're set up for 12 kids. We do 12 this year. We're 12, and Mossberg sending us 12 guns. But anyways, right now I've got a solid 8 parents supposedly. But you know it's crazy. Every year we do the same thing, and about 50% of the kids show up. It doesn't matter if we set up for 8. First year we did 4 and we had 4. Then the next year we did 8 and we had 6. Then last year we had a dozen and we had 7 or something.
Yeah,
But it's something, but kids, a lot of the parents, it's not a priority to the mom that what we have done is now we're doing first responders. Before it was just military. Well, we haven't had a lot. We thank God we haven't been in a lot of fights lately with our military, so it was harder to find kids, which was a great thing. Then we switched it to the first responders. With first responders, you're getting kids it's a fresh wound. We had 3 kids last year who had lost their dad within 6 months. When it was just military kids, some of them was 15, 16 years. They were babies and they were 16-year-olds who'd lost their dad. So anybody out there that knows a kid that's in this, we'd like a sponsor to come with them. It can be a mom, it could be a grandpa, whatever it is, just to come with them so they have someone else here at the lodge.
well, let me know. You send me any kind of link that you have, or if you
I
have a
don't even
post
have a
that I can
link.
share.
And I'll put something on Facebook because we don't do a 501c3, all that shit. I ain't screwing with that crap. We get a bunch of money donations. We give the kids a check, that leave. We don't advertise that, but the kids get some money when they leave, and they can do whatever they want. It's their money. It's not their parents' money. It's theirs. Now, I don't care what the parents decide to do with it, but we had some girls 2 years ago that were here, and their dad, I gave him the check, and I told him what we were going to do. He said, "Can we just have the check?" The parents, he said, "No, we're going to let them do something with it, but we want to surprise them." So their birthday was like 2 months later, and they gave them their checks, their money, and they took them to go buy clothes or whatever they wanted. It was 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a piece. I don't remember what it was, but anyways, the little girl sent me a video message thanking me, and it wasn't me; it was all my listeners and stuff that donate money and stuff to them. But it's a way of us giving back.
Yeah, I love that.
But anyways, if anybody knows any kids, we need to. I'm looking for a couple of kids from some families. What's going to happen is I'm either going to have nobody reach out to me, or there's going to be 100 people.
Yeah, nothing in between.
No, it's never ever in between. And we don't try to turn down kids, but we're limited to 12 kids. But I could do 3 probably for sure.
Okay.
So don't go telling your kid you're going to get him involved in this unless you get a hold of me and I still have openings, please. Because I don't want to. I'd feel horrible about that. But anyways, if you're listening out there and you know a kid that's deserving, or you don't have to be deserving. He's a kid's a kid. You know, there are bad kids. Trust me, I was a judge for a long time. There are a lot of bad kids, but most bad kids come from bad environments.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the problem. Anyways, I appreciate you having me on here.
Jeff, tell everybody how they can find you. If I might have some listeners that's not listened to the Honker Show before, but tell them how to get a hold of you or how to find you.
Well, you can. The Big Honker Podcast, it's on all the podcast deals. On YouTube, it's the Big Honker Podcast channel. Our new series, The First Family of Waterfowl Season 4 is out right now on it. We're filming Season 5 right now. And or at stanfieldhunting.com. You can look me up on the Instagram, jstanfield68. If you're sensitive and you like the Democratic Party, you might not want to listen to me, but if you're a regular person and got a brain in your head, look me up. You might enjoy what I put out there.
Jeff, thank you so much for taking time. I know you do a lot of podcasts, man, and you're busy. I really enjoyed having you.
I had a good time. Want to do this again, and holler at me next week when you're up here, and we'll go have a lunch or something at least.
Deal. You got it.
All right.
Thank you,
have a good day. Thank you, sir.
Hey, you too.
Bye-bye.
Hello, this is Kenneth Witt with Gundog Nation, and I'd like to encourage all you listeners and viewers on our YouTube channel to check out patreon.com/Gundog Nation. For $10 a month, you can become a member of our community, and we'll have access to lots of stuff. Mainly, we'll do a monthly forum, an open forum, where you can ask me anything Gundog related, and we'll learn from each other in the community. Should be a lot of fun each month. We will do that. So check it out, patreon.com/Gundog Nation.